Hey,
Oh,
we got some work to do.
sorry, I was trying to catch my best angle there, but
That could be tough.
yeah, it's kind of hard. It's got to be just right.
Well, hey, we're here today to introduce to our church family this vision that we've been hearing so much about for the last few months. And what does it mean? What does it mean of what we're going to become more of in the next 5 years?
Absolutely. And so you've maybe heard, hopefully you've heard and read a document, and there's this phrase, reclaiming our tables. And what we want to just do is kind of go through each of those words. The first one is reclaiming. And what we're trying to reclaim is something that we feel has been lost in our culture. And a lot of it has to do with these little guys, the advances in technology. But there's a loneliness in our culture. And part of and we're trying to reclaim what's been lost. Human connection. We've traded deep human interaction and connection in our culture for surface level connection. And we want to reclaim that because we realize that's a need that every person has, not only in our church, but in our community.
Yeah. And we realize that for us to do this well with each other as well as our community, it has to begin with us. So it's reclaiming something that is ours. Absolutely. That we need to own and go after.
Absolutely. And then finally, tables is kind of a word picture. It's concrete. We can see it. We can touch it. It's not about tables, but what tables represent. And what they represent is a place where connection can happen. And so it's not limited to tables. It's not limited to meals. But what we want to reclaim is that place where that connection, that human interaction, where depth can take place in the relationship. And
it's not just eating, it's everything that happens around the table, games and fun. And the question then becomes, well, how are we at Providence going to do this? What does that look like? And if you read again that document, we're going to start at the Lord's table, which is where He invites everyone to come and to know and to be loved by and to be intimate and connected in a deep way with Him. And every time we celebrate the Lord's Supper, that is something that is to happen or to recognize, and that's not just something that we do together, it's something that we're sent out then to do, and so then comes the next step.
Absolutely. It's kind of this building outward momentum. It's not do this, then this, then this, but each of these build on one another. What God begins in us, we bring them to our families, and so that's kind of the second movement, which is reclaiming the table in our homes. And we recognize that as our lives become busier, that's harder, and there's a reality to that. But we also recognize that that's so important to reclaim that space and to connect deeply with our families. And so we want to reclaim those tables.
And to get rid of those.
Let's get rid of it. That's right. I hope it's okay.
And then comes that move inside the church itself. There's plenty of tables in the church, but it's about those spaces, those places where we connect. And we're known as a friendly and a welcoming church, but we need to go deeper. And some people do not feel connected. And sometimes we get so connected to just a certain group of people that we miss out on that depth of commitment. And so to be intentional about working together toward opening up those gathering spaces, those places where we meet to connect more deeply with each other and to see what God does in that. And as He equips us then to do even more, which is the next step.
Yeah, and as we reclaim the table in our homes and then reclaim the table in our churches, and the idea is that everyone's involved in this, then we are going to be equipped to finally take that last and probably most challenging step, which is to open up our tables to our community and the people in our lives, coworkers and neighbors and friends and our kids' classmates, and to open up our tables so that they find a place to belong and find connection and find what they can't find in our world, which is deep human connection, but even more importantly, our hope and our prayer is that they'll find a connection with a God who loves them and find a relationship with Jesus Christ.
And that's a process. We realize that doesn't just happen in a short period of time,
Absolutely.
Which is why this is built over 5 years of movement toward that. And some of us are farther ahead than others in that, and that's okay. We've all got growth in that area. But the next question is, why? Why would this be our vision? And the first reason is it fits us. As we as a team examined, as a retreat team looked at, what is it that God has equipped and strengthened us as Providence to do? Yeah. We're welcoming, we're friendly, and it's already a great beginning, and it's not going to change who we are, and it already fits with a lot of things we're doing. And we know that it's going to be more challenging for some of us than for others. I mean, some of us are more introverted than extroverted, and we acknowledge that. And it's not about having one set pattern, but it's about all of us realizing this is a call and to do it in our way, in our time, but to each of us realize that we as a church family can do this because God's already created this in us, and just to build on it, to strengthen it, to grow it, and so that His kingdom grows and others come to know Jesus, and we get to know each other better.
And one of the things I remember hearing was that we're already doing a lot of it.
Exactly.
You know, things like Refuel and what are women's ministries and men's ministries. And, I mean, there's already a lot of it happening, which was such an affirmation that we're in the right direction. But most importantly, maybe, then not only does it fit us, but it fits Scripture.
That's right.
And it fits what Scripture teaches us. It fits what Jesus modeled in His ministry. And we're going to study that this morning. But Jesus came to bring salvation to the world. But the way He did it so often in the Gospels was around a table.
Yep.
Maybe a figurative table, but
Yeah.
around a meal. And we're going to talk about that. And if we're in line and in step with what God did and what God was trying to do through Jesus Christ, I think we're on a pretty good path.
And so it fits us. It's definitely a directive of Scripture. There's a process in place where we don't have to do it right now, but it is, as we've learned this summer and been challenged this summer, to be sure of what we hope for and certain of what we can't see. And so we're looking forward to what God is going to do as we step out in faith, as Noah did and Abraham did and Isaac and Jacob and all those saints who stepped out in faith got to see what only God can do. We are so looking forward as a church family to what God is going to do in and through us as we embrace this as our process. And so please join us. Join us in praying and working, cooperating. We got a lot of work to do yet.
And taking those steps. Small steps along the way.
And all of us, the steps will be in different order, at different time, but we can do it because God is with us, and we're confident in that. So thanks for being a part of our church family. We are looking forward to what God is going to do.